Hello, beautiful people. This is your girl Genie, and it's Genie Signatures. Welcome, my subscribers. So today I'll be making this funky nick, as I call it, a funky short, and a crop top that I tied in the front. That is beautiful, looking all sexy. You can wear it casual. You can wear your trainers. You can wear it high heels and go out with your guy. You can see the crotch. Everything is perfect. So let's get right into the tutorial. I'll be making use of this fabric, and I don't want to be cutting directly on the fabric because most of the measurements will not be seen. So that is why I'm making use of a pattern paper. So I'll be setting the clothes aside, and then I'll be working with the pattern paper. And the pattern paper on the table, please kindly note, is not on fold. I just used a single piece so that I'll be able to, I'll not waste the paper. In short, yeah, that's just about it. I want to waste the paper. So, but when I'm going to be placing it on my fabric will be on fold. Please take notes. So yeah, so I'm going to be starting with the shorts first. Yeah, before going to the top. So I'm going to be placing my tape like that because I'm going to be having a 2 inches band on the short. So that is why I'm placing my tape like that, and then I'm going to be getting my full measurements. I had to measure myself so that I'll get, because I made it for myself obviously, as you saw on the thumbnail. So I've gotten my full length. So I'm placing the tape like so, and then I'm marking my full length with ½ inch allowance. You don't need 1 inch or 2 inches, no, you just need ½ inch because that is where you'll be joining the ruffles to the shorts. And so you mark the full length for now of the shorts. So the next thing we are going to be doing right now is to get the waist to the hip. That is where I'll be marking my hip measurements, and that is what I just marked. My waist to hip is 9 inches, and my crotch depth I'm going to be marking 11.5. My crotch is 11, and I'm adding ½ inch for ease, and that will make it 11.5. So those are the marks that I just made, and I'm going to be rolling it out on a straight line. So I just want to label it. That first part is my waist, that is my hip, and then I have my crotch, and then the length of the shorts. So now I'm going to be dividing my hip measurements into 4, and whatever I have, I'm going to be marking it right there, and then I'll add 1 inch for sewing allowance. This is totally optional because some people don't add sewing allowances to their front piece. They would rather add it to the back, but I added here, and of course I added at the back just to cross all my T's and dot my I's. It's better to be safe than sorry. Yeah, so as a beginner I would advise you do that. And then on my crotch measurement, I'm going to be dividing my thigh measurement by 2. We always divide our thigh measurement by 2. And then whatever I have, I'm going to be marking that, and I'll add equally 1 inch sewing allowance. I'm trying to extend the line. So the next thing I'm going to be doing right about now is to be taking the measurement of the hip measurement up to the waist measurement. And then from there I can now get my waist measurements. Like so. So my waist measurement divided into 4 is 10. And I'm going to be marking that like so. Though I added 1 inch for that, I later did not use the dart. But if you want to put a dart in front of your shorts, you can please go ahead and do that. but I later changed my mind and I did not use that. I only added the that at the back of the shorts. But if you wanted that at the front of the shorts, please go right ahead. So I now connected from the waist to the hip. I'm trying to blend it in. And so in order to get my crotch curve, I'm going to be extending that line. I wanted to use the pattern master, but it was just not working. So I decided to use my hand to freestyle it and just draw a curve from that hip to meet the crotch, the thigh measurements. It's also the crotch here on the line of the crotch because we've already have our thigh measurements there. So that is why I said that. So now for um, uh, the width of the shorts at the lower part, I actually made use of my hip measurements divided by 2, and I added 1 inch sewing allowance because that place is a little bit big. It's either you use your hip measurement or you use your thigh measurement. If you don't want it to be too big, you can use your thigh measurement, and then you can add 1 inch sewing allowance to that, and then you connect from that to that point. So we are basically through with the front piece. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to be cutting it out. But before that, I was just trying to explain that if you want to make use of your dart, you just find the middle part, or you use your bust pan measurement or your nipple to nipple measurement, and then come down by 4 inches, and then you have your dart. But because I'm not making use of that, that is why I just ignored that at first. So now I'm going to be cutting out my front piece for the shorts. So after seeing the shots, I was like, this thing does not have shape like that. I'm cutting out, trimming out the waist part. I was like, this thing does not have shape like that. So I need to give it a little shape. So I just, at the length of the shots, I just came in by 1 inch. And then I connected the line from the hip down to the place, and it gave it a shape. So please bear in mind that this does not affect the sewing allowances or the measurements in any way, because I will still have enough sewing allowances at the back of the shot. So don't bother yourself about this. It still came out beautiful. Yeah, so it's giving it a little shape, as you can see. So this is beautiful. And so I'm going to be placing this and cutting it out, which I've already done off camera because I didn't want to waste much time. So just place the paper and place your fabric on fold, and then you cut out exactly what you have on the paper. And so that's the front piece. I'm going to be setting that aside now so that I'll work on the back piece. So I already have my back piece and my fabric folded. That fabric is on fold, and I placed the front paper that we've already used for the front to make alterations on the back. And please ensure that you have spaces by the sides and at the upper part when you fold your fabric, because we'll be making some alterations for the back piece. So right there on the crotch, I'm going to be coming down by 1/2 inch from that crotch, and then extend the crotch by 2 inches. Come down by 1/2 inch, and then you extend your crotch. Well, depending on how big your bum is, but 2 inches is still normal. But if you are not on the big side, please kindly go for 1.5 inches. I think it's better that way. The chalk is not visible, so at a point I'm going to be making use of my marker. And then I'm going to be coming to the waist part, And on that waist part, I'm going to be coming in by 2 inches and then go up by 2 inches at that point where I came in by 2 inches, in order to extend the back so that when you sit, your pants or whatever will not be showing. So that is the essence of raising the back waist, in order to avoid such things. So I'm coming in by 2 inches and then I'll go up by 2 inches from that point, just to raise the back waist. And now on the same side of the waist, by the side of the hip line, I'm going to be coming out by 2 inches. That is, I have to replace that 2 inches that I came in with. So I'm marking that 2 inches by that side. It's just like shifting the waist backwards. This is always beautiful because I've always used this method and it's always been perfect for all my trousers or shorts. So this is not visible, and I'm going to be making use of my marker now to trace it out because I didn't have any other color of chalk. I tried looking for the chalk but I couldn't find it, so I'm just basically going to be using my marker. That was what I was getting right there. So yeah, I've gotten my marker, so I'm going to be tracing out exactly what I explained. So connecting that 2 inches to the 2 inches that I went up with on my waist measurements. That's the 2 inches extended and the 2 inches I came in with and the 2 inches I went up with. So you connect like so. It's quite easy. Please don't think that this is magical. It is not magical, it is just practical. So please, if you have watched up to this point and you have not yet subscribed, please kindly hit on that subscribe button so that you'll be getting juicy tutorials from my channel. Thank you. And please hit on the notification icon so that you get notified anytime I upload a new video. Thank you for your time. And so at the up part by that side, I'm going to be adding some sewing agent allowances. From the waist I added 2 inches, and then as I regressed I reduced it to 1.5 and then 1 inch, so that I'll be able to get that same curve that I have at the front of the shorts, so that everything will come out perfect. And please bear in mind that I'm going to be placing my zipper by the side, so that sewing allowance equally includes my zipper allowance, because I'm not going to be placing the zipper allowance at the crotch area. It will be by the side of the shorts. And so now I want to connect from my waist now to the new crotch. As you're seeing me, then you connect it and you carve it to meet that, and that is it. It's as easy as A and B and C. And so I'm going to be adding some sewing allowances at that edge equally, in order to avoid stories that touch. So now I'm adding 1.5 inches down to the hem of the shorts. And voila, don't mind me, that seems to be my signature word, voila. So I'm connecting it like that, and then we're basically through with the front and the back. So I'm going to be cutting out everything as it is. Please, if you don't understand, just kindly rewatch so that you get proper knowledge of what I just did. It's not magical. Thank you. Please kindly ignore the background noise. I'm so sorry about that. So that is our back piece or back pieces, and this is our front pieces. It's all looking beautiful. Please ensure that when you're taking your measurement for these shots, ensure that the measurement is not too long, so that when you are, by the time you attach your ruffles, it will look beautiful. It will not be too long, because if it's too long, it will defeat the beauty of the shots. Please ensure and take note of that. Thank you. So now I'm going to be going over to the cutting of the top, and I'll still be making use of a pattern paper for that, because as I said earlier, the material, you won't see anything, so I had to use paper. So now I'm just diving into cutting of the crop top, wrap crop top, yeah. So I'm going to be reeling half an inch to serve as a starting point. And so the next thing I'm going to be getting now is the length of my top. I made mine with sewing allowance, I made it 21, so depending on what you want, you can go right ahead and mark it. Just remember that it's a crop top, it's not a long top. This is just basically cutting out a basic bodice, because that is what we are going to be using. So now I'm going to be marking my shoulder measurement divided by 2, and I'll mark it. And then I'm going to be getting my round armhole measurement divided by 2, and then I'll mark it. I'm not going to be using a dart for this, so if you want to use a dart, please go right ahead. I just want it plain. The next thing I'm doing is to be going for my shoulder slope, and then I'll be coming down for 1 inch for my shoulder slope. And for my neck width, I'm going to be going by 3.5 inches. I don't want it too wide. And then I'm connecting that to the neck width. That is the shoulder slope. And then I'll be getting the midpoint of my armhole, and then I'll connect. Sorry, I forgot I thought I was making the front body, so please kindly bear with me with that. But it still came out okay, because when I was cutting it on the fabric, I put it in mind that it was the back piece. So but for the front piece, I cut it like that. So I'm dividing my bust measurement by 4, and then I'm adding 1.5 inches, 1 inch for the sole allowance, and half an inch I'm adding it to the bust measurement to make it a little bit free for me, because it's not supposed to be tight. If you want yours tight, no problem. It entirely depends on one's choice or choices. And then I'm going to my waist. I'll be dividing my waist by 4, and then I'll add 1.5 inches as well. I added that allowance, but I did not use it. And so for the back depth, I'm going to be coming down by 1.5 inches. And then I'm connecting it. So we're basically through. And the next thing I'm going to be doing is just to be cutting it out. and then I'll go right ahead and cut it out on my fabric, even though I did that off camera. You just place exactly what you have here, and then you cut out, except for the armhole that you need to cut right before you did the half an inch thing. So I'll be placing this to cut out the front piece because I had already done that, the back piece off camera. So yes, I'm just going, I've just showed you to see that I folded it and I've cut it out. So I'm going to be, yeah, so now I'm here to cut out the front piece. It's just easy. When unfold, please ensure that you have like more, I don't know how many you would want, but unfold, I left a space. You can see at the front piece I left a space of like 11 inches. But depending on how long you want your rope or that tie thing in the front to be, if you want it to be 20 inches, you please go right ahead. But what I have unfold, that space in between is 11 inches. I was trying to get the depth, but that is really not necessary because at the end of the day, you still need a press button. If you don't want your cleavage to show, you need a press button to attach to that point. So you really don't need that. So I really, please kindly ignore that. So I mark my neck width, and then I'm going to be cutting out basically the same thing for the sides, and then the armhole I'm going to be going exactly like that. Going for the shoulder slope. And then I'm going to be connecting from the neck width down to the edge of the clothes, the way I folded it like so. But if you want it to be like a wrap top, you can go up by 3 inches at that edge or 2 inches, and then you mark it like that so that you'll be able to attach your belt. But this is not going to be a wrap top, it's just a crop top that I just tied in the front, so I really don't need all that. It's not necessary. I'm just saying it in case you want to turn it into a wrap top. You can go right ahead and do it. It's the same process. So this is how it looks, but I'm going to be placing back the pattern paper so that I can cut off the excess length that is at the end of the fabric. So I'm going to be cutting off the excesses. So I've cut off the excesses, and that is how it looks. So I'm going to be opening it up now so that you see it. So, oh, they are married together. Okay, yeah, we've been separated. Okay, sorry. So yes, you can see how beautiful. So please ensure that when you are buying your fabric, always buy a fabric that will bring out the beauty of what you are making. You know, you just don't go to the market and just say, oh, this cloth is fine, and no. If I go to the market, I want to buy some fabrics, I make sure that the fabric is something that will bring out what the value for what I want it for. Yeah, if you know what I mean. So this is the front pieces, and that is the back piece right there that I'm holding. That is the back piece. You see how beautiful everything is looking. So I'm going to keep it aside, and then I'll bring back my shots to show you how far I've gone with that before coming back to the top. Yeah, so these are my shots. This is my front piece. It's looking sexy already. So I've joined the crotch, joined it by half an inch, and that is the back piece too. I've joined it by half an inch, and I've equally put my darts. I've imputed my darts. You can see it, and I've given it a very good press. So the next thing we're going to be doing now is to be fixing or attaching the bands. I've already cut out the bands. On fold, just cut out 2.5 inches. You remember our band is 2 inches. So you just fold your fabric and then you cut out 2.5. Then you use half an inch to join the shorts to the bands. I have two pieces, one for the front and one for the back. So I'm going to be placing it like that, like so, and then I'm going to be running half an inch all the way to the end of it. I'm going to be doing that for the back and then for the front. And then I'll be coming back to show you how it looks. So I've done that and this is how it looks. It's all looking beautiful. I've attached the bands. That is the back piece and that is the front piece. So the next thing I'm basically going to be doing right about now is just to place the front piece on the back piece and then take my measurements, my waist, my hip measurements, and then leave the lower part because that is where I'll be attaching the ruffles. And for you, please, if you don't know how to make ruffles, please kindly watch my tutorial on how to make Gada's gown. I have it on my channel. I don't want to make this video to be too long. That is why I didn't show the video of how I made it. So I'm back to my tops. I've gone ahead to use bias tape to turn the necklines. Please, if you don't know how to properly use bias to turn your necklines, please, I have a video on my channel that shows a perfect way of how to do that. So please kindly watch that, or I may, if I remember, leave it in the description box so that you can go right ahead and watch it. Thank you. So I've turned everything and everything. I've ironed it out. It's all looking pretty and neat. I had to use a black bias because that is what I have handy. Please, if you want to make yours, kindly use a matching bias. So I'm going to go right ahead now. The next thing to do is to just attach the two shoulders half inch. I'm going to run half an inch on each shoulders. And then I'll be back to show you the next thing. So by now I'm trying to rush and I'm going to run the side stitches by 1 inch. Yes. And then I'll be back. Okay, so I've left that aside. I've come back to my knicker. You can see that I've attached my zip. I attached it by the side. I've taken my measurement. I've attached the ruffles at the hem. It's all looking beautiful. For the ruffles, basically what I did was that I just the first one, the longer one was 6 inches and the other one was 4 inches, and then I doubled the round knee measurements. So that was what I did, and I gathered it and then attached it like so. It's all looking funky because I call this a funky shot. It's very beautiful. So I'm setting that aside and going back to the top. So for the top, I've already attached, I've joined the shoulders, I've joined the sides, and so our top is almost ready. The next thing I'm going to be doing basically right now is to attach my sleeves and then fold the lower part. I'm going to be using a bias to make it neat. That is the hem of the top. So that's how I'll be tying it. That's what I was trying to illustrate. So I'm going to be attaching my sleeves. I've cut out my sleeves. I've cut out the sleeves. Let me set this aside so that you'll be able to see it very well. I cut out a basic sleeve and then I cut out extra plain. You know, the material is flowered and plain, so I cut out a plain part so that I'll join it to the hem of the sleeve so that it will look, fine like. So it will come out beautiful. So I'm going to be attaching the sleeve and I'll be right back to show you how it looks. So after attaching the sleeves, this is how it looks. It's all looking, you see what I mean? It's all looking beautiful. I've gone ahead to use bias to turn the lower part of the top, and it came out beautiful. So after all this time out, I'm going to iron it, and as you saw in the thumbnail, I wore it and I was rocking and shaking my funky shots. Thank you all for watching, and please kindly hit on that subscribe button, like, share, and please give this video a big huge gigantic thumbs up, which is also a like anyways. So thank you for watching, and God bless you all, and God bless us all. Thank you to all my subscribers, my intended subscribers, my already subscribed ones, and the ones that are just watching and not subscribing. Please kindly subscribe. Thank you, and God bless you all. See you on my next tutorial. Thank you. Love you all. Kisses. Bye for now.